Oh, you thought I was done? I ain't done yet. This is Snowman in the Morning Plus on a Monday, and Drew Willingham is my guest this morning. How are you, my man?
Hey, I'm here, man. This time of year is definitely rough with the change of the seasons and all. It's definitely
Yep.
knocking me out with the flu right now. But if Michael Jordan can do it, and if you can battle what you did and go through hell and back to be where you're at, to talk sports with me today, the least I can do is sit behind a desk and be here with you today to talk some sports. So I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you so very much. We're going to begin with a little baseball here. And my man says Shohei Ohtani should be the American League MVP. Why for you say that?
When you think about it, man, I mean, it's Aaron Judge is having a hell of a season for the New York Yankees. He's still stuck at 61 home runs. He has not beaten the record yet. And with 4 games left to play, it's going to be tough for him to get to it at this point. The pressure is on just to hit one more home run.
Mm-hmm.
But with Shohei Ohtani this year, 15 victories as a pitcher to 8 losses, a 2.35 ERA. With that being said, in the same year as a batter, the only other one that's done it and come close to this statistic was Babe Ruth back in 1919 as a full-time pitcher to get almost 100 RBIs, which actually Babe Ruth got over 100 RBIs. But Shohei has 34 home runs to 94 RBIs, only 6 RBIs away from 100 RBIs. It's tough. It is tough alone to be a full-time player and get 100 RBIs, let alone a pitcher who has 15 pitching victories.
15 wins, 15 and 8. That's so crazy.
When you think about that statistic alone, when you've got somebody who's sharing both, even though he just is a designated hitter when he bats, doesn't really play much of the field, still it takes a lot of endurance and a lot of stamina just to be a pitcher alone and just to get 15 victories. There are full-time pitchers who can't even get a dozen victories in a season,
right.
Snowman, let alone you got somebody who's hitting almost 40 home runs and 100 RBIs in a season and getting all those wins. That's why if I was a voter, he would get my vote as MVP for the season. I know Aaron Judge has done a lot.
I can see your argument. I can totally see your argument.
And with Aaron Judge's first time as hitting this many home runs since the steroid era, I know that's big, but come on, almost 100 RBIs and 15 wins. I have to pencil in Shohei for that.
Yeah. Hey, no argument from here, but you know how the popularity vote is. They're going to vote for Aaron Judge, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a unanimous MVP for Aaron Judge because of the 61 home runs.
It's just sad.
I told a few people this, and I'll say it again. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a unanimous MVP.
Shohei did have 100 RBIs last year, and I mean he is consistently the same. And at the same time, I don't want to cheat Aaron Judge out of this, but I just feel like when you got somebody who's got that many pitching victories and he's tied for 8th in wins as a pitcher, let alone 34 home runs and 94 RBIs, it's just tough for me to not give it to somebody when he is the Babe Ruth of our generation.
Well, speaking of great things in Major League Baseball, the Seattle Mariners are back in the playoffs for the first time since 2001. How do you feel about that?
I know Darrell Owens of the Legacy Maker Sports Network is definitely happy for it as a Seattle Mariners fan. And it's first time, like you said, in 20 years or so, since 2001 was the last time the Mariners went when they had Ichiro. 87-71 record as of today. Definitely big for the Seattle Mariners. And
huge.
For somebody who I've been arguing all year long, and Julio Rodriguez did not deserve that contract because he's a rookie and hasn't played a full season yet. I guess he's making me eat my words right now because they are in the playoffs. And I even said it when I was making this argument back on my show. I said, if they make the playoffs, I will bow down and say he's at least worth half of the money. But right now, right now, I'm still not saying he's worth it, though.
I'm not going to bow down. He's a rookie. He's a rookie. And you know my rule. You've been on the show with me and I with you. Do it again. That's my 3 simple words. Do it again.
Just like you said earlier in the first part of your show with Christian McCaffrey, he should have played another year or two before they gave him all that money. And Spivey was spot on with that, saying he should have played another year. Same deal with Julio. You are a rookie, 21 years old. You do not deserve $200+ million in our opinions.
And who's to say that injuries won't bite him? Who's to say that inconsistency won't bite him? Who's to say that the same thing that befell Christian McCaffrey in football won't befall him?
I mean, granted, it is two different sports, so I got to at least take my
But
hat off to that.
yeah, but
Because
at
there's
the
a lot of
same
contact
time,
in football.
but at the same time, the same risk is involved. The same risk in football, basketball, and baseball is involved. Okay, injuries are a part of the game. That's what a lot of people love to say, and they're right. Injuries are indeed a part of the game. But be that as it may, you're gonna slip $200 million to a rookie because of a half a season of performance? What?
Especially when he hasn't played a full season, let alone all the games this season, because
Correct.
he hasn't even been in a lineup over this past weekend. They're just talking about, I saw in the news earlier that they were talking about penciling him in for today. Well, if he's so great and he earned all this money, he shouldn't be penciled in. He should be printed in.
It should be in ink.
Yeah.
You know, as Al Michael says, you need to put it in ink. Put it in ink. If he's worth $200 million, make him prove it. Make him prove it. The Atlanta Braves are taking control of the National League East with a sweep of the Mets. And I believe the magic number is 2 for Atlanta to clinch the East Division again. I mean, the Mets are cursed. Even though they're in the playoffs this year, even though they did get in, the Mets are cursed because they should have run away with the East Division easily.
That lineup with which you're paying that team, absolutely you should be. And the Braves now have a 3-game stand against the Miami Marlins. You know they're going to be taking at least 2 out of 3 there, potentially
they're
sweep
kill
them.
Miami. They're going to kill the Marlins.
Miami's 67-92, and the Braves have now got to 100 wins. They're 159. They got their 100th victory over the New York Mets, Snowman. So when you think about that, they got a 2-game lead with 3 games left. They're not giving this up.
And that means the magic number. Then that means the magic number is 1. If they win, I believe the magic number to be 1. If they have a 2-game lead over the Mets, and the magic number has got to be 1. They win any of these games. They win any of these games against the Marlins. Goodbye, East Division champions again. And you kind of felt the shoe dropping. As far ahead as the Mets were, and I capitalize the word "were," in the East Division, they couldn't have held off Atlanta. Really? Are the Mets that cursed, or is it just me? Are they that cursed?
I don't really agree with how you kind of just put that, holding off Atlanta and really in the same. I'm not trying to attack you there, Snowman, but I'm saying this as a Braves fan and for someone who are the reigning, defending World Series champions.
Yep.
They, of course, the Braves are expected to be in this spot at this point of the year. They probably should be expecting to have more of a lead in the NL East, to be in my opinion. But when you've got the Mets, who saw what the Braves did last year, and they invested the money that they did into that team. Now you're going into the last few games of the season against the Nationals, which they are last in the division. However, Marlins are just barely above that. The Braves are going to take at least 2 out of 3 here. And if they take just 1, like you said, because both teams, the Mets and the Braves, are playing NL East, NL East teams, so it is division stats that are going to come into play here at the end. Yeah. They definitely need to win all 3 games for both teams. And if the Braves win 1 game here, the Mets are screwed. It's over.
Yeah.
Braves lose all 3 of the Marlins, which aren't going to happen. Then they get a shot.
That's not going to happen. 1 win for the Braves, and they're the National League East Division champions. And finally, in talking about Major League Baseball, we got to mention Albert Pujols. 702 at home, and in his final home game, it just seemed so right for Pujols to not only get 700 with the St. Louis Cardinals, but for him to surpass 700 with the St. Louis Cardinals.
It was definitely big, and for anybody who loves the sport of baseball, it was definitely a romantic thing to see him get to 700 home runs this year. You know, coming into this season, 679 home runs with what happened last year, getting released by the Angels, going to the Dodgers. And I owe you an apology, Winnie the Pujols, because I was the one who was saying all season long you were not going to get to 700, but you did. And for that factor alone, I gotta say I'm sorry, and I've been a fan of you this entire time, so don't get it twisted, okay?
Right.
I was just saying what I was saying because you at 42 years old and potentially older, if you did lie on your birth certificate many years ago, if you are older or 42, regardless of whatever your age is, for you to pull off what you pulled off this season, big for you, big for baseball. In the same year that Aaron Judge has hit 61 home runs at this point in 157 games for the Yankees, it's going to be big to see what he does. But for Albert Pujols' final year in the final ride going into the playoffs and making a run this year is huge for him, and it's a huge boost for the St. Louis Cardinals team to hopefully boost them into a good run in the NL.
Can the Cardinals win the National League? Can the Cardinals win the pennant?
You've got the Atlanta Braves there that
Braves
are going to be big.
Braves are the defending world champions. I already
penciled
them into my National League Championship Series prediction. And I'll do all my predictions during the main show tomorrow.
Absolutely. Then you got the Dodgers, and then the Mets are the wild card. So when you think about all that, even though the Mets and all, what we were just talking about a few minutes ago with the NL East, there's still a dangerous team in the wild card. It's just the actual the numbers and everything don't come into play. They don't get that first round homestand favoring with that.
Right.
So with them not getting the win in the NL East in wild card, it does affect the Mets. However, we've seen wild card teams win it all before. It will be potentially in their favor this year with the roster that they have too.
Matter of fact, of the 3 Giants World Series titles, 2 of them were as the wild card, 2010 and 2014. And those 2 times they had no business being in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
On
And the Cardinals' last victory was as a wild card team as well.
Yep. The Hawk TV has joined us. He says Oktoberfest. Better believe it. Best time of the year. You got Major League Baseball. You got NFL, which we'll talk about after the break. And I got Drew Willingham with me. We're getting chilly with Drew Willie. After a break, we'll break down some football. And brother, there's a lot to talk about. And people in Tampa are not going to like me. This is Snowman in the Morning Plus with Drew Willingham. Back in a minute. Have you had a chance to visit the Snowman in the Morning shop yet? You haven't? Then what are you waiting for? Go to officialsitmorn.com, check out the shop when you type in the word shop, and you'll see things like, a coffee mug that's available, a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, and a whole lot more. And while you're buying items from the Snowman in the Morning shop, you can support the Snow Strong Carolina mission. We got a lot to do and a short time to get there. Go to officialsitmorn.com/shop, check out all of the gear, and wear the same gear that the crew wears. And when you're doing that, tell them Snowman sent you. Hey everybody, Snowman here, and thanks for listening to this episode of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. Want to tell you about a little thing we like to call Monkey Knife Fight. Wait, what in the world is that, you may ask? Well, Monkey Knife Fight is a daily fantasy site where you can play your favorite games, support your favorite players, and make money at the same time. And right now, if you go to monkeyknifefight.com and use the code Snowman, you will get a 100% deposit match on up to $100 on your initial deposit. Go to monkeyknifefight.com and use the code Snowman for an up to 100% deposit on your first deposit of up to $100. Thanks, and tell them Snowman sent you. Cause we take this job so serious.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Yes, it's Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. And indeed it is. It's Snowman in the Morning Plus with Drew Willingham joining me here. Time to talk some NFL. And we'll begin in Tampa, where the Buccaneers got roasted, toasted, run over, smacked, and Thomas Brady is finished.
Whew, man, that game was a sight for sore eyes, man. Thomas Brady, it's tough to say that because he did throw for almost 400 yards in last night's game. He threw for 385 yards in this game that they lost horrifically, and it's 41-31, but don't let those numbers fool you as far as the game being close, because
Thank
it
you.
wasn't. In
Thank you.
several parts of that game, they were down by 3 touchdowns, and it was very sad to see. Even though Mike Evans had 103 receiving yards for 2 touchdowns, he was the highlight of this offense because Leonard Fournette was 3 carries of -3 yards and 3 carries for -3 yards, averaging -1 yard per carry. Rashad White, 3 carries for 6 yards, and don't let that touchdown fool you because he only got it when they were in the red zone. So when you think about all that, they have no running game. They have no running game because their offensive line is depleted compared to what it was 2 years ago. Their offensive line is not in the same shape. So without a good running game, you are not going to make noise in this league. You're lucky to be at 2-2 at this point, but you just got checked by a team that is most likely going to be in the running for a Super Bowl run again in the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Then you got the Patriots and the Packers. Why'd you put this game on the list?
I don't
care about either one of these teams. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I put this game on the list because Aaron Rodgers getting that 4-year extension. This game should not have been as close as it should have been against a third-string quarterback, a rookie quarterback, let alone in Bailey Zappe. So I put this on the list because they only won by a field goal in overtime.
And it was a walk-off field goal at that.
Against a quarterback who was 10 of 15 for 99 yards and a touchdown to keep them in that game. So I'm sorry, Darrell Owens. I know you are a big Packers fan. You are definitely lucky to be at 3-1 against a 1-3 Patriots team that took you into overtime. Damian Harris, 18 carries of 86 yards and a touchdown against the Packers' Aaron Jones, who had to go 16 carries of 110 yards just to keep them in it. Aaron Rodgers, 251 passing yards for a touchdown and an interception. That's another reason why this game was as close as it was. So you are lucky, Packers fans. You are lucky, cheeseheads, to have that victory going into the day into Monday.
Very lucky. And I looked at the list when you sent it to me of what you wanted. I said, why do you put this game? I don't care about either one of these teams. I don't care about. And look, Darrell's not going to like me for this. Trey Larkins is not going to like me for this. But you can have the best regular season of all time, okay? And the Packers have done this a couple of times. Why don't you do it in January? Why didn't? And I'm gonna love talking about this until I see differently. Why didn't the Packers beat the number 6 seed last year in the playoffs, which was my beloved 49ers? What is the kryptonite with the Packers playing San Francisco? And the Rams are going to feel that kryptonite tonight in Santa Clara.
Jimmy G's kryptonite. And it's a good thing you got him back now.
Oh, yeah.
It sucks for the Trey Lance, but that situation is finally resolved, for at least for this season, because you got Jimmy G back.
I think it's going to be resolved.
Miracles are going to happen.
And I think it's going to be resolved for next season because I see Jimmy G and the 49ers balling out, and them marching him into the office and say, name a figure. Jimmy G's the quarterback, period. Bills and Ravens. Lamar. Okay. I'm going to say a statement that Lamar Jackson fans don't like. And I really hope Lamar does get paid, okay? And I'm going to say 2 statements. 1, Lamar will get paid. 2, it ain't going to be by the Ravens. My prediction is, and a lot of people in the DC area are going to love me for saying this, Lamar's not going to get paid by the Ravens. He's going to get paid by the Redskins.
That would be huge.
He's going to get paid because Baltimore is too cheap to fire Greg Roman and bring in a real offensive coordinator. Oops.
I mean, in this game that we had for the Bills and the Ravens, the Bills definitely took this one at 23-20, but Lamar Jackson, I don't think that the Redskins, Commanders, football team, Washington, whatever you want to call him, should pay him, especially in this game that he went 20-29 for 144 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks.
2 picks. The last one cost him the game.
So when it comes to being a mobile quarterback and extending plays, he's great for your offense and for your team. I'm not sold on him being a franchise quarterback and deserving to get paid like Mahomes did. Mahomes proved, especially if you saw how there was one play that Mahomes had last night, man, where he was scrambling around there in the red zone and had that little flick play, like it was
moving to his left.
Yes. Well, this one he was moving to his right.
But
he was moving to his right. He did this little dance. He just flicked it up. It was like towards the
like a jump shot.
Yeah.
Like he flipped it. He flipped it like, I know the play you're talking about now. He flipped it like a jump shot.
99.9% of quarterbacks past to present to future don't make that play.
No,
but someone who gets paid $500 million in his contract
makes that.
And that's why he gets paid, not Lamar Jackson.
Exactly. And by the way, there's something called a Super Bowl championship. There's something called a Super Bowl championship that got him paid. But what the Chiefs did is that they waited until after the Super Bowl loss against Tampa to back up the Brinks truck. Because it's like, okay, you played a great defense in the Super Bowl, but you got us there in what was a topsy-turvy 2020. And like, okay, back up the Brinks truck. He's our guy. He's our guy.
The last quarterback to get the Ravens one was Joe Flacco.
Yep. And then I don't want to talk Redskins Cowboys because the Redskins should have won that game going away. But Carson Wentz is the Redskins starting quarterback, and that took care of that. I mean, can we get Taylor Heineke in the house?
Hey, man,
please?
I got the shirt on right here. Yep. The legend of Taylor Heineke. I feel like they should put him in and see what he can do.
Where did Taylor Heineke play college? Old Dominion? Is that right?
Yes.
Old Dominion. And he threw, I remember Heineke throwing for some 700 yards, 734, I think, in a game at Old Dominion. And yet Riverboat Ron won't start him. Why? You backed up the Brinks truck to Carson Wentz, and he's already proven he's not the guy. He's not the man. He's not the man, period. Come on. Then you got the Seahawks and the Lions, which wound up being 48-45. How the heck do the Seahawks and the Lions produce 93 points?
It was definitely a high-scoring game. Geno Smith, man, he threw for 320 yards and 2 touchdowns.
The same guy.
Rashad Penny looked like Skittles. Marshawn Lynch with 151 rushing yards.
Yep. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get this topsy-turvy season. We're only in week 4. And a quick preview of tonight. When I did the picks on Friday, I was the only one that picked the 49ers. I'm staying with my pick because I got the feeling they got a surprise waiting for the Rams tonight in Santa Clara. The thing that's hurt the 49ers so far this season has been injuries. They lose Trent Williams for 6 to 8 weeks, but there's a chance Eric Armstead will be back tonight. He and Javon Kinlaw are slated to be back tonight. Of course, you got Nick Bosa, who's about to get paid. Jimmy G is about to get paid. Deebo Samuel got paid. He's going to get paid again. It's going to be, they're at home. They beat Seattle. They kicked Seattle in the rear end at home. I still think the 49ers can win the West going away. I really believe that. They just got to get healthy. They just got to, and we lost Elijah Mitchell for 6 to 8 weeks in that monsoon in Chicago. And that turf at Soldier Field sucks. I'm trying not to cuss, y'all. That turf in Soldier Field sucks. It blows, man. And that's as close as I'll say to what I need to say. I still believe in my 49ers. I still believe they're going to win the West, and they're going to do it going away. One more break, and then I have a surprise for you, Drew. And you're going to love me for this. Back in a minute.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, W-I-Z-E.
Are you in a life holding pattern? Well, this is for you.
Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast.
Drew and I are back, and I'm going to change boards here because there's still stuff I need to upload. But for my buddy Drew, and I know it's Monday, and I'm going to hear Wise's voice, but I got to do this.
In a world where partial greatness is celebrated and total greatness is shunned, there stands to be a figure on the lips of those who love him and those who hate him. The inane comparisons to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant continue and has existed since 2003. There is no end in sight, for the battle between those who unconditionally love and unconditionally hate him wages on. These are their stories. Welcome to the Bronzexual Confessions.
Here's the reason I'm doing this. Because A, it's on Snowman in the Morning Plus, and B, Drew Willingham's with me. He never had a chance to hang out. He hangs out with us in the chat during the morning show when we do this on Wednesday. And C, most importantly, I had a conversation with a Bronzexual.
Oh, no.
On.
Uh-oh.
I was gonna say this till Wednesday, but I'm not gonna be able to hold it till Wednesday. Jaylen Brown said, quote, "The 2018 former LeBron was the best I've ever experienced in the league. That 2018 LeBron was special." And then the post on top of it says, well, forgot to do this, close quote. And then I'll open it again. Quote, 2018 LeBron was otherworldly. He averaged 34 points, 9 rebounds, no assists per game in the playoffs, and made the finals. Close quote. Didn't they get swept in the finals? If memory serves me correct.
That year they did.
They got smacked. They got smacked.
By your boys.
By the Golden State Warriors. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And they got swept by another team that I love to follow, the San Antonio Spurs. That, of course, was 2007. So I decided to jump all over this. And I know I'm 2 days early, but this is Snowman in the Morning Plus. But I jumped all over this, and I said there has never been a best former LeBron, and I got quite a few reasons for my claim. Then I got warned. Mike Connor says, be careful. The LeBron stands don't like facts, and they'll call you a hater. Now, this is where I love you, Drew, because you talked about the most annoying player in NBA history, and I still have that rant saved up, and I'm going to use it at another time. And this annoying fan base annoys the living daylights out of me. So Xavier Wilkins shows up. Yeah, and I'm calling people out. And I have no qualms in calling people out. I really don't care. I have 0 F's to give. Xavier Wilkins said, quote, "You must not watch ball if you think that, my boy," spelled B-O-I. Close quote. I wish I was making this up. I told this Xavier Wilkins guy, "I've forgotten more basketball than you have watched, sir. And I've seen much better than LeBron." He responds, "I mean, you can look better when you're playing plumbers and substitute teachers with barely to no dribble handle. Let me explain something. I'll stop there. Let me explain something. Michael had the best handles in the league for a time. And this is going up against Gary Payton, Kevin Johnson, Mark Price, Dennis Johnson, people that actually played the game, people that actually lived the game, people that actually know the game. And God rest his soul. God rest the soul of one Dennis Johnson. And oh, by the way, no handles in that era. Okay, does the name Magic Johnson mean anything to you?
To me, it does.
Means a lot to me. I said, you actually believe that? Xavier Wilkins responds, it's a fact. No need to believe in it. What? As I often say, who told this lie? So I decided to pile on and said, in a way, you're right. Since LaFraud has played with plumbers and milkmen. Meanwhile, the real king, MJ, one thereof, played against actual basketball players that actually played the game. LeBron has not had an impact on the game, period. Now, Drew, I'll stop there for a moment and ask you the following question. Why do people get mad at me when I say that?
Because there's a lot of truth in what you said.
Why do people get mad at me when I say LeBron has never had an impact on the game?
Because that part is false. He has
it is not false.
He has that. As much as I agree with you on like 98.9% of it, this is the 1.1 that I got to agree. He has had an impact on the game.
How?
Who else do you know has put chalk dust in their hands, thrown it up in the air? And who's done that?
Michael Jordan has.
Okay, because he looks up to Jordan. Okay, so he's just
and
carrying
Jordan
on
looks down at him. Next question. See, I can have this. Listen, I can have this argument with you, and we produce a lot of laughter. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't have this argument with bronsexuals because it produces a lot of anger.
Yeah, like LeBron.
And you know it. And you know it. You've had your conversation with bronsexuals. You know it.
Yeah. Like I'll give them this. He deserves enough accolades for what he's done. No,
he doesn't.
He's got MVPs. He has played in a more pussified. He has played in a more pussified era when you compare it all. Jordan did play in a more physical era, so that's why I will never give LeBron number one over Jordan, just because of the eras they played in. Generational talent, yes, LeBron is for this millennium. But he will never go down as the greatest to play basketball for everything that we just said. However, I have to disagree with Snowman with this. He has made an impact in the game of basketball. In the pussified era of basketball, he has. However, he has made an impact in this game. I can just never give him number one, even if he does play for 5 more years after this year and has a 25-year career, which he won't. He'll make it another year or two. Maybe have a Thomas Edward Patrick Brady-like career of 22 to 23 years. But Tom Brady will go down as the best to play quarterback in the NFL. I'm sorry, Snowman, but LeBron will not be the best to go back and go down in the NBA.
Listen, Brady versus Montana is another argument we'll have at a later time. So Xavier responds by saying, Bron the GOAT, my guy. None, N-U-N, instead of the word nothing, you can do to change that. Really? That, again, you can look better when you're in an era where the talent isn't even on your level. That's like saying you'd rather have the easier road than the harder road, which is Bron, which is one reason he is the GOAT. Okay, I'll stop there. I'll do the whole thing on Wednesday because this is a deep conversation that I had with this bronsexual.
It was that rough.
My brain hurts.
Oh, it was one of those. I mean, so it was getting good. You kind of stopped at the point where it was getting good, but at the same time, like if your head hurts at the end of the conversation, that was bad.
My brain hurt. It's like my late father would always say to me, it's not the fact that my head hurts, it's the fact that my brain hurts. And my brain was on fire. I mean, just reading this, first of all, there's no punctuation whatsoever. There's no sentence structure. There's nothing. It's like he's typing the way he's speaking. And I hate that. But looking at this sentence, if you want to call it that. Playing in an era where the talent isn't on your level. Xavier Wilkins, the talent was above MJ's level. MJ just learned to rise above it by improving his, here's an F word, fundamentals. It's like saying you'd rather have the easier road than the harder road, which is what Braun has said all the time. I need more help. I need more help. Have we ever seen MJ complain about needing more help? No. The only time he's made a suggestion was to get Dennis Rodman because they realized they were getting killed on the boards. Phil Jackson realized in 95 they were getting killed on the boards. So they made it happen. So what? You want to get better and you want to be the Kings, you improve. You have to. Just ask the Golden State Warriors.
Hey, they kind of made somewhat of a super team when they brought in KD for 2 of those rings there, my man. This last one they earned and the first one they earned, but the 2 in the middle are just as cheap as the ones that they got in Miami.
They were not cheap. They were
With
not
KD,
cheap.
it is. That was a cheat code.
No, it is not cheap, and I'll explain why.
In order to beat LeBron, they had to get KD for those 2 years.
Listen, LeBron got a stimulus package in 2016 because Adam Silver had no cojones to call LeBron out and say, shut up and play, because he was getting locked up in that series. He was getting locked up. You know it. I know it. He was getting locked up in that series. So he decides to dry snitch on Draymond Green, which cost them game 5 and eventually 6 and 7. Come on. He got a stimulus package for 2016. And then the Cleveland, this is for you. Shut up. Shut up, because you had a stimulus package handed to you like you tried to play football and someone walked the pass down the field to you. Stop it. Just plain stop it. Just plain stop it. That's why LeBron has had no error, because he's always had help, either from different players or from the league itself. LeBron has been handed a 21-year career, he's been handed a 21-year career and hasn't done a doggone thing with it. Period. He hasn't done a blankety-blank doggone thing with it. He's had the league by the nether regions, by the throat, handcuffed, tied to a stake, duct taped, and hasn't done a doggone thing with it, period. I said it, and I meant every word of it.
Snowman.
What?
4 NBA Finals MVPs on those.
And your point is?
4 NBA MVPs.
And your point is?
18-time NBA All-Star.
Yeah,
okay.
And 16 of those he didn't earn. Next.
13 All-NBA first teams.
Uh-huh.
3-time All-NBA second team.
Yeah. No.
5-time
it should be it should be an
team.
18-time NBA All-Second team. You want to go there? I'll go there.
Rookie of the year.
Because no one else stepped up to challenge him. Next question.
NBA scoring champion in 2008.
Yeah, and MJ's got 10 of them. Next.
He shares the ball better than Westbrook and was the assist leader in the pandemic year in 2020.
Yeah, and Magic Johnson has 10 assist titles. Next.
He's in the NBA 75th anniversary team,
where he does not belong and shouldn't even be the NBA top 100. Next question.
AP Athlete of the Year 4 times in 2013, 2016, 2018, and pandemic year in 2020.
He got handed those, and it should have been someone else. Next question. And I know you want to burst out laughing with every argument that I offer. I know you're trying to hold it, and I know you're trying to be diplomatic, but I'm not being diplomatic. I'm speaking the truth here, and I'm going to continue to speak the truth while I make you laugh your head off at the same time, because I know I'm getting close to making you burst out laughing. Come on, keep them coming. Keep them coming.
USA Basketball Male Athlete of the Year in 2012.
And Kobe Bryant did it twice.
He was a National High School Player of the Year in 2002 and in
And
2003.
he cost his team a state championship because he wouldn't share the ball. Next.
He did learn from that, though, in the previous
No, he
arguments
didn't.
that I made in the
No, he
assist league
didn't.
during 2020.
No,
Who
he
goes
didn't.
from that type of epic decline, as you say, in the state title game to the NBA and does all these things that he does? He was a 3-time Ohio Mr. Basketball from 01 to 03 before he even got to the NBA.
And he shouldn't have gotten any of them because there were a couple players better than him. And I know you're going to burst out laughing. Keep them coming. You see, you can't help it.
Yeah.
You can't help it.
I was just trying to give you some type of argument that a typical bronze sexual would.
Oh, I
just
know.
to be diplomatic in this situation.
And that's
But
why
it's tough.
listen. And that's why I countered every single one of them. I know what you were trying to do. You were trying to be the diplomatic bronze sexual, which you're not. Especially, listen. I know you were trying to be the diplomatic bronze sexual. I know. Trust me. I get it. I understand. But listen, there is no diplomacy when it comes to bronze sexuals. You know it. I know it. There is no doggone diplomacy when it comes to bronze sexuals. And I know every argument you were trying to make without laughing your head off. I know that. I mean, you can't be the diplomatic bronze sexual when you and I basically agree on everything that's wrong with him, especially after you said this.
This one's for you, Snowman. LeBron James is the most annoying athlete of all time. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five. And I could keep going, but that's what he did.
I rest my case. I was saving that one for you.
Facts. It was definitely, that was a great argument I had on Legacy on Fire. And anytime a LeBron James topic comes up, I've definitely got the fire regardless of the situation.
Same.
NBA season is going to be interesting to see as we are now into October and things start to kick up with that.
And
20th season for LeBron is going to be interesting. However, it is a pussified era, so I cannot count his stats. That is why he would not be number one ever, in my opinion.
Thank you. And as you know what's going to happen? There were rankings that came out that said Golden State will finish in the 8th spot in the Western Conference. Golden State's going to run roughshod over the Western Conference and the NBA, and the Lakers won't even make the playoffs again. And it's going to be LeBron's fault.
I wouldn't say more so LeBron's fault. It's going to be the entirety of the team's fault because, you know, you got AD and you got Westbrook in that contract. However,
yeah,
you know,
AD
when you
can't
think
stay
about
healthy.
When you think about it, though, AD, like you said, can't stay healthy, but LeBron has pretty much been the general manager of what this roster is. So he does somewhat take the blame for that.
Which tells you everything you need to know. Which tells you everything you need to know.
I mean, the Golden State Warriors are the team to beat. They are the reigning champs. Just like we were talking about earlier in baseball, we were talking about the Braves are the reigning champs. They're the ones you have to knock off. Mm-hmm. And you couldn't knock them off as the Mets couldn't. And that's why we're talking about the Braves right now as number one. So technically going into the season, I still have, you know, the Warriors at the top. So to kind of cloud your ego a little bit there, Snowman, you know, take that in right now, because by the midway point of the NBA season, we might have a different conversation on a Monday about this, you know, because
no, we won't.
Season has you say that now. However, when you think about it, LeBron definitely will not be in that number one conversation because
no, he won't.
Opinion, LeBron's barely in the top 15. I feel like that
LeBron's barely in the top 100.
I'm talking about like if you were to rank all of the NBA teams currently at the start of the season.
I just did.
Well, there's not 100 teams there, Snowman. Like
I know. You're talking about players, not you're talking about teams, not players.
I'm talking about teams. Like out
so
of all
the Lakers will be in
15th.
So the Lakers will be in 15th place. What's the problem?
Well, I mean, there's not a problem. That's what I'm saying. Like that. That's why we won't have them in the number one conversation throughout the season. Because right now, to me, they're 15 out of 30.
And they'll finish last in the Western Conference. They'll finish worse than Houston, and Houston's rebuilding.
No, I wouldn't go that.
Yeah,
I
you would.
wouldn't go
Yeah, you
that
are.
far.
I see the look in your eyes. I see the look in your eyes. You can't even say that far without laughing. As I say to my beautiful children and my grandchildren, you can't tell that lie with that smile.
You would have Houston if we were gonna say, because in my list, like I said, I've got Lakers at 15. Because I did make this list earlier. I had it for a show that I've got.
Can we have
upcoming
Lakers
for my
at
show.
30?
No, because I've got the Rockets at 26. So that's why if you're gonna say that they're that, then we got to put the Lakers at 30 in order to make that happen.
Can we flip those spots then? I'll trust Houston's rebuild more than I trust the Fakers. You know what?
You got Schroeder though.
Can we really? You're gonna throw Muskie at me? Really?
You got what's his name? Patrick Beverly.
Who's he?
I can't help it. That was good. You just spot right. Who's he? Well, I didn't even have anything for that one because how fast you came back with that one.
Now, for you bronzexuals, let me close this right before Drew and I have fun to close the hour. Get out my face, you thirsty heifers.
In a world where logic and sense flies completely out the window, while purple and yellow glasses are donned, rises a figure who encourages ridiculous, undying loyalty. Good Lord, I'm about to throw up. This has been yet another installment of The Bronzexual Confessions.
Now, as I said, the biggest reason I did that is because Drew's actually on camera with me and on the show with me for Snowman in the Morning Plus. And let's lock in every Monday, 11:05, Chili with D. Willie with me, talking sports here on the Plus. Because
Cold hard facts.
Yes, cold hard facts. And you know, as I explained this morning, the reason I'm cutting the show to 2 hours and leaving it at 2 hours because we have fun, but we lose structure at the same time. And you, my friend, brought that to my attention. And I don't want to do that, especially with the momentum that we're building right now. So we're going to do that. And then on Mondays, I get a break. I get to eat something. And then you and I come back and do this and have a whole lot of fun doing it. And let's finish this the right way. We'll talk next week. We'll really go into the NBA. You can mark this down right now. We'll spend the hour, and yes, it's going to be an hour. We'll spend an hour talking all things NBA. Now, are we going to have a script for that? No, we're just going to talk NBA. And all I got to say is, to be the champs, you have to beat the champs. And I don't see anybody doing it. I love you, Jason Tatum, and I love you, Greek Freak, but you've heard me say this on the morning show. This is just not the first one for Golden State. This is not only the first of two, but three. I said this is the first of three.
I don't know, man. Like besides the Celtics and the Bucs, you've also got you got the Clippers in the top 5, in my opinion, as well as the 76ers. So 76ers,
the Clippers.
The Clippers, as far as like in the top of like the West, the second in the West. Not over the Warriors, but
penalty flag on the field. The Clippers, you actually put them in your top 5 in the West?
Hey man, Kawhi Leonard, I think
who hasn't played in a year.
The ACL
and won't play this year.
No, he'll play.
No, he won't.
He'll play.
If he plays, he'll be forced to play. And I got this opinion about Kawhi Leonard. He should have never left Texas.
Well, he did get another ring in Toronto, though.
Should have never left Greg Popovich. I'm sorry, but Nick Nurse can only do so much.
What's Popovich done without him?
Not a doggone thing.
Exactly. So Popovich needed him more in San Antonio than Leonard needed him there because Leonard won one in Toronto.
Which goes back to my statement. He should have never left Texas. Stability also helps. And there's a possibility of stability for yours truly because I just got an email while we were talking from a station in Iowa that wants to see my skills. and they're willing to fit the bill for a night or two for me and the wife to drive out there. And I know she doesn't like the winters in Iowa, but if there's a chance I can stack up $30,000 doing what I love and still do this for everybody, then the heck with it. I'm taking a chance.
Yeah, I hope that happens.
And this
man.
is,
That'd
and
be
if
great.
this happens, I'm going to use this next year, stack up some money, and then we're heading southwest. I don't like winter. She doesn't like winter, but there's something pulling us southwest, man. I mean, the whole thing was for me to get back to Carolina because there's an opportunity there. But after the news I got, it's changed my thinking because I want to go somewhere where it's warm constantly. But before we do, you tell Darrell Owens I owe him a couple of baseball games.
I think that'd be great because the two of you, between the play-by-play for you and color commentary for him, I think that would be symmetry in motion.
And there's one thing I love about Darrell. When he was doing baseball, I think with VCU, I listened to him and I didn't even wait for him to ask for advice. I just kept throwing things at him. Here, add this, add this, add this. And it seems like he took it all and ran with it. And I love him for that. I absolutely love him for that. So me and Darrell got to share a microphone for not just baseball, but basketball too, because there's still an opportunity in North Carolina waiting for me, because I was told by the folks at UNCG that there's a hiring freeze going on right now. But I was told by one of the guys there, should you find yourself in North Carolina next year, we'll hit the ground running and build the radio network. So I got respect all over the country. And for you, my brother, I love you dearly. I can't thank you enough for coming on. We finally got some structure to this doggone thing. And thank you for slapping me across the head with that, because how did Simba put it? I finally got some sense knocked into me, and I got the bumps to prove it.
Hey man, that's what friends do. They tell you the constructive criticism, and you know, I'm the type, man, that lays it in there. Like, I don't do things to hurt anybody's feelings. I do things to try to build things. And going back to Darrell, man, like, you know, Darrell's one of the best people I've ever worked with or worked for. And if it wasn't for him and starting the Legacy Maker Sports Network, I would have never met you, would never have been a part of this journey with you, wouldn't be here at 11:05 a.m. today on Mondays and going forward with the Snowman to talk sports. And I appreciate that opportunity as well, brother. So thank you as well for having me here. Just as much as you're grateful for me being here, I'm just as much grateful for you to be able to have the opportunity to talk sports. That's why this is honestly one of the highlights of my week, is to be here with you. So thank you for that, most importantly. But with Darrell and with everything that he's done and going to Dallas yesterday and doing that, that's a huge step for him, a huge step for our network, and a huge step for things going forward. So I'm grateful for him and the opportunities that he has bestowed upon me. I'm appreciative of you and the things going forward. 2022 has been a great year for our network and for you as well, and going forward. But I think 2023 is going to be bigger than 2022 or any of the years.
23 and 24 are going to be off the charts, because I said this to Cole. I really believe this to be true. The Legacy Maker Sports Network, as well as SDM Sports Radio Network, are going to attack Radio Row in Las Vegas for 58. I mean, I had an original goal of 57, but I want to be sure I'm completely healthy, that I'm completely cancer-free, and so far so good. I got an MRI coming on Monday. But man, a chance to do play-by-play and really get paid for it, a chance to do radio production. I can do audio production in my sleep, and I'm learning video production also, teaching myself it on the fly with the program that I have. People don't understand, when you teach yourself the skills that's needed in the industry, you're invaluable. And John and I owe a lot to John Chalesnik of the Sportscasters Talent Agency of America. 3 years ago, he and I had a conversation when Jody and I lived in Terre Haute. You know what he said to me? He said, "You're a pioneer for starting this on the internet when no one else had the nerve to." You're like, wow. But it's simple. Cut out the middleman and you're fine. That's the simplest lesson I've ever learned. Am I still trying to get the morning show on radio stations across the country? Better believe it. But be that as it may, I'm already internationally syndicated with the audience that we have. It's just a matter of doing having the person to do the right promotions, and then off to the races we go.
And just like I told Cole, because both of you have been on my show, and when he was on my show for episode 47, he has been a huge addition to your show and to what you're doing going forward. If it wasn't for Cole, and it's been big for you because of your personality and what you do for the show, if it was not for Cole, things would not be running in the direction that they are running right now. So you'd give enough homage to him, and I will too. Hats off to Cole for everything he does for you too, because the work shows. And like I told him on episode 47 when he was there, he inspires me to get better because people give me a lot of praise and a lot of kudos for the In or Out Sports Debate on Legacy Maker Sports Network. Sorry for the plug, but I had to. People give me a lot of praise for that. However, if it wasn't for this show here in Snowman in the Morning and for other shows that I watch as well, you guys inspire me to get better. And for your story alone with the hell that you went through to come back to what you're doing today, to be healthy enough just to be here with me, that's why I don't mind coming here while battling the flu with you, because it's people like you that have inspired me to be here still for episode 53. It'll be here tomorrow, 8 o'clock p.m.
8 o'clock. Listen, Tuesday nights, catch the In or Out Sports Debate on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, a sister network of this show and of SDM Sports Radio. And I'm thrilled to be back behind the mic this coming Friday with Jennings County and Floyd Central for some football. Got all the production problems settled, and that'll be our first official broadcast on the new station that I've created. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and we got to get the heck up out of here. Drew Willingham from the Legacy Maker Sports Network and the In or Out Sports Debate joins me every Monday here on Snowman in the Morning Plus. Thank you, brother. I love you so much, man.
Love you too, brother. Don't forget, guys, tonight, play-by-play with Snowman for Monday Night Football with tonight's L.A. Rams and San Francisco 49ers. Had to plug him, too. He just plugged me. So for my man Snowman here, don't you miss out on that play-by-play, because I'll be listening in as well.
8 o'clock tonight, I'll do a play-by-play and a live reaction. If everybody else can do it, how about a professional that actually does it for a living? I'm going to give it a shot. Hey, support Snow Strong via Cash App, PayPal, and Patreon. Thank you, Drew. I love you, brother. We'll do this again.
Love you too, brother. Looking forward to it.